All right, everybody, welcome to another exciting event of the Venice Beach Central Collective. And today we're going to be discussing the development of the VeniceVille band with our impresario, Nikki Black, who's going to be sponsoring and producing jointly the exciting upcoming VeniceVille Players
For sure.
ensemble.
Most definitely, and it definitely is a collaboration. So yes, definitely it's a good point, a joint venture, for sure.
Yeah, we've been working together a while, many years actually, in various acts and with the talking stick and trying to promote, the art of the era
Most
and
definitely, and
modernize, the concept.
Exactly. So I had to have a special person that I could have help me with this project, right? Because it's very, it's a very broad project, and it's very, you have to be, a very good musician and many different facets, right? And I thought, well, hey, Eric, I need Eric to help me on this because there's a lot of synthesizer type stuff.
Right, in
on.
this sort of almost a 70s type of era.
Yeah.
That we're trying to recapture. The music was very good back then.
Exactly. That's the whole point. The whole vision is that I think that era, which I'm going to call electro jazz at this point in time, is very underrepresented when we're talking about the history of jazz, right? Or like that underplayed or downplayed, right? When a lot of the geniuses from the 60s made a smooth transition right into the 70s, like a Freddie Hubbard, which some of his best work had electronic stuff, like a Herbie Hancock, who's a lot of his most innovative stuff, and I will say he's one of the most innovative people, that I'm trying to represent and emulate. Yeah. That with his work, and they didn't have anybody. The synthesizer was brand new. He created those sounds that we use now, right? And I'm a big fan of electronic music. Right, so these were like some of the electronic pioneers. So that's why I want to
continue the genre.
But also, I think we as musicians, right, can grow. You have to be a good musician. You have to challenge yourself in this genre as well, just like the acoustic jazz of the '60s. But even the acoustic jazz of the '60s, right, there were some where funk was starting to even influence that. So there was a period called the funky period of jazz, right, where it was less about the changes and more about the rhythms. So I like playing that.
Yeah, we've been having a good chemistry in this area, and of course we all, as musicians, interpret in our own way and add our own flavor to interpreting the past and bringing it into the present.
Exactly. They're like, we're taking some of the most difficult pieces and treating them like exercises, right? I mean, who knows where this band will end up? This is just like, we can see where it started, right? Electric music, and it goes, and I also grew up in Venice in the African-American neighborhood, so black music has been part of my life the whole time, so I love the rhythms and all that. And it just so happens that a lot of the innovators in electronic music have been the African-Americans, like electric guitar, blues cats jumped right on it, and made a whole genre out of that blues, You have the post-acoustic blues cats, and then you had the electric guys, right? And they were like B.B. King and those guys. Right. So that's part of how electronic music.
Right, with the blues and the jazz influences.
And the funk for sure, because when the Fender P bass, right, that changed everything, because now I don't have to play soft on the drums. I can start playing backbeats on the drums, right? Because I got a louder bass. Before, the drummer had to play softer because you wouldn't be able to hear the acoustic bass.
Right.
So that funk, and James Brown, I think, was a very, very influential guy in the new electronic age, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm very influenced by him, and. Stevie Wonder, like when I was mesmerized when I first saw the first synthesizer on TV. I was completely mesmerized.
Yeah,
so
genius, and he was quite the multi-instrumentalist as well. And
exactly. So this is like classical music we're playing, and that's why I stepped to you first, because you're on that level. I mean, out here we didn't have African American performance like you guys did on the East Coast at New England Conservatory or at Berklee School of Music where you went, right? So I had to figure this out on my own, right?
Philadelphia had a great sound coming out of it.
And how to explain that to other people. So being a non-native, you know what I mean? I'm going to say that learning a second language because African rhythms weren't my first language, even though I was always mesmerized in Venice by them, is that I can now pass that on to other non-natives, I'm going to say it, of the fundamentals of it, you know?
But there was always a lot going on in Venice.
For sure.
Going all the way back to the beginning of the era.
Right, like when we had Alan here.
Al Keith.
Al Keith.
Right.
Al Keith, he was talking about the drum circle in Venice when he first came out and how they would hold hands and pray. That's where I came from.
Bring the spiritual energy in.
They would pray first and then they would play, right? It's a spiritual thing, these drums. So yeah, I'm trying to, and we're just recreating that same drum circle, but with electronic instruments. And once you get that, I think like...
It all comes down to the rhythm.
And the beat.
Regardless of the instrument.
Exactly. So in a drum circle, everybody's playing a different little rhythm, right? So you can't step on somebody else's toes, otherwise it'll just be mushy.
Right, everyone has their own...
Their space.
Their own part to contribute.
Right, so with VeniceVille, you know, I'm just starting with this electro jazz. You know, me coming out of the acid jazz era of 90s, I was pretty much well known that mixing hip hop and jazz and soul and fusing it together. And so yeah, this is really just a kind of like going back, but I don't look at it as retro.
Trying to interpret and continue and create. I mean, every artist was a product of his influences as well.
Exactly.
So we're just continuing
that drum circle of Venice, but with electronic instruments.
Exactly.
And those principles we can teach because like some folks don't know how to teach it. Like I remember when they were trying to explain to us swing, right? And how it was, they were trying to shove it into the dynamics of Western music in the terms of you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's a triplet without the middle one. And that's so ludicrous to say it's the triplet without the middle one. Because that's totally counterproductive.
It's just a feel in a way.
It's a feel, and you got to know you naturally put it where you want to put it.
You don't even need to know what a triplet is if you really want to express it.
Because it doesn't repeat itself the same way ever again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So when it hindered me from learning swing, trying to explain it like that. But another dude said, "Hey man, you know that guitar rhythm you've been playing swing all along."
It's more about feeding off of each other, the members of the ensemble, and creating an entity as a whole in a unit.
Right. So yeah. So the musicians that we are kind of a school in a way, Venice Beach Central. You know, this is kind of like one of the schools.
Yeah,
you have your own
always
school.
Learning and evolving.
Exactly. You have your way of teaching. This is my way of teaching.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
So that's why I want to document this way of teaching. So
exactly.
I just thought about it on the way here, how the drum kit is the original, a drum circle, one-man drum circle. I just thought of that. A guy probably didn't have another guy or two, so he said, hey, let me put this together and I'll do everything, because it's all there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
A drum kit is kind of
it's all there. And
you can do multiple polyrhythms and whatever it takes.
So these electronic music, right? I also look at that as a Pan-African American, rather. That's what a term I'm gonna, because I'm so fascinated with all the rhythms. I'm talking about like Cuba and Brazil and Colombia, Jamaica, America, all the places where they have indigenous beats, right? So. In electronic music, Jamaica has been like, man, way up there with Lee Scratch Perry, and he was just jerry-rigging things together that later on became computer programs and stuff like that, right? But he called it dub and all that. And that's another, I'd like to see VeniceVille get into that.
Yeah, every song can have a beat from a different origin, all within the genre.
Yeah. That's a good point. Eventually, I think we're just gonna mix it all together somehow. It's easier, but people love this music. It's not retro because it was so far ahead of its time that it's just now.
It's very danceable.
Believe it or not, it's
Great beach music.
anytime you know the grooves, man, and you can get people to dance, and that is the judge, right? That is, and so
It's going to be something everyone's going to enjoy listening to, and
I think so. And I think with the also the thing it's about, it's kind of like has the improvisation of jazz, right?
Exactly,
So we all have to keep
it's
striving and getting better and better on our solos and all that, right?
It's constantly fresh because it's always different.
Yeah.
Because improvisation is the whole key behind jazz and the genre.
Exactly.
Blues, everything.
That's it. So that's my aim with this band is to pay homage to a different style from a past time that led to all of the electronic, what we call electronic EDM or whatever, what the kids call it nowadays. These are the sounds that were their origin, so it still ties into now. And the different beats are still the same. You still have the slower funk or the faster house, which is double time funk if you really, really want to think about it. So it's like, so you still have these dance beats from that same era that are still being used now. So just...
And at the same time have a great time doing it.
Exactly.
And provide something that
the art of it, stretching it.
People are going to enjoy and reach people as well.
So yeah, as we bring musicians, also one of my aim is I don't know how big this band could become. And I just want to start smaller as we add.
Yeah, maybe add percussion, some
horns.
It
could grow and have people in and out. Going in and out and doing different things. So who knows? Sky's the limit with VeniceVille. So
absolutely,
and
up and coming.
That's it. So as we bring this new bass player, and we did lose our bass player recently due to he passed away, but he was there a lot. But yeah, we're teaching these concepts of African rhythms. Don't play the same rhythm twice. Make it a spiritual thing. Each one in the drum kit is also the boys in the band are right in the drum kit. Like for instance, I'm listening to as the guitar player, I'm more like that chicka type instrument or a...
The guitar is a percussion instrument.
Yeah, it's like
technically speaking.
What do you call that?
Kabasa? Shaker?
The shaker. No, it's the tambourine. It's like a tambourine. So it's like a hi-hat. I'm seriously, when I'm playing rhythm, I'm listening to the hi-hat and locking into it. So bass player should be locked in to the bass drum. The snare is kind of like keyboards, so it's all right there. So I'm glad you reminded me of that. In that James Brown movie, he went around to the whole band. Hey, Maceo, who's a sax player or whatever, what's your instrument? Sax? No, drum. So he was moving music into this way of thinking of every instrument as a drum.
Everything
a percussion
has to be
instrument.
Rhythmically interwoven.
In this style.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That everything's drum oriented, and that's what, to me, like the super musicians of America, because we do study the European and the African ways. We've been able to mix them both together. We've been so blessed to learn from both schools. You know what I mean? That it's made us super. I'm serious, and I'm trying to get more super.
Bring it all together.
There you go, man.
In one overall presentation.
Well, man, I really am honored that you're the one that, of all people, that were interviewing me the first time. Really, man, because Venice Beach Central and the talk.
Well, it's actually an honor to
Thank you. Appreciate
be involved
it, man.
in continuing the legacy.
Exactly, because just because you're not like success in the arts is different things to different people. For me, it's more like playing with artists like yourself, right? Being on the level of a professional, whether it means you're making money at it or not.
Well, success can be defined in many different ways.
Yeah, for me, I'm a
If you have
bohemian.
good people in your life and you're healthy and you're happy, that's success.
Yeah, and I've always been a bohemian, so it's like art for art's sake. But I have a funny feeling we might make some money at this. I really do, because we have some
It could
good
be a
hearts.
nice byproduct of the entire event.
And I think that is the delivery.